Imagine for a moment that you have an organ in your body that you didn't know about. It's not your heart, it's not your liver, and it's not your lungs. But it is alive. It has its own blood supply. It communicates with your brain. And, frighteningly, it secretes chemicals that actively fight against your health. Welcome to Levitas. For years, we've been told that belly fat is just stored energy, like a backup battery or a pantry of food waiting to be used. That is a huge lie. The hard, distended belly isn't just weight, it is a biologically active, parasitic organ that is hijacking your metabolism at many different levels. Today, we are going to expose exactly what visceral fat is, why it acts like a poison factory, and how to surgically remove it, without surgery. Before we scrub in, I have a question for you. Have you ever noticed that the fat on your arms or legs feels soft and squishy, but your stomach feels hard? Like there's a basketball under the skin? Please leave a comment with your thoughts right now. This helps the algorithm show this to people who need help, and type either the word hard or soft, depending on what you're feeling. And while you're there, hit that like button too. Okay, let's diagnose the visible difference. Why can you be heavy but soft, or lighter but hard? This is the battle between subcutaneous fat versus visceral fat. Subcutaneous fat is the soft stuff. It sits directly under your skin. If you can pinch an inch, that's subcutaneous. Believe it or not, this fat is relatively harmless. It's passive. It's just storage. But what about visceral fat? That is the silent killer. It resides under your abdominal muscles, deep inside the peritoneal cavity. It packs itself tightly around your liver, your pancreas, and your intestines. That hard feeling in a belly? That isn't muscle. That is the sheer pressure of this fat pushing out against your abdominal wall because there is simply no more room inside you. And here is where it gets scary. Visceral fat is not just sitting there. According to a landmark consensus in the Nature journal around 2018, we now classify this tissue as an endocrine organ, one that can really put your health on the line. That means it functions just like your thyroid or your pancreas. But unlike those organs which help you, visceral fat is a rogue agent. It silently secretes inflammatory cytokines. Think of these as tiny chemical messengers of war. It pumps out interleukin-6 and TNF-alpha. These are chemicals that travel through your blood, causing systemic inflammation, damaging your arteries, and making you feel tired and foggy. You aren't just carrying weight, you're carrying a harmful factory. This leads us to one of the most dangerous myths in medicine. The "I'm skinny, so I'm healthy" trap. We call this TOFI, thin outside, fat inside. You've seen this body type. Slender arms, thin legs, visible collarbones, but a protruding potbelly. A study published in the Annals of Internal Medicine in 2015 dropped a bombshell. They found that adults with normal weight but central obesity, that skinny fat profile, had a higher mortality risk than people who were obese by BMI standards but had fat distributed evenly. Why is this? Because the obese person might have a lot of safe, subcutaneous storage. The skinny fat person has run out of safe storage and is packing fat directly into the organs. It's like storing gasoline in your living room because the garage is full. It's a metabolic emergency. So, how does this rogue organ destroy your metabolism? It's all about location, location, location. Because visceral fat sits right next to the liver, it drains its fatty acids directly into the portal vein. Imagine a direct pipeline dumping sludge into your liver. This creates insulin resistance. Your liver gets so overwhelmed with fat that it stops listening to insulin. Insulin is the key that opens your cells to let energy in. Visceral fat gums up that lock. This forces your pancreas to scream louder, pumping out more insulin, which, ironically, signals your body to store more belly fat. It is a vicious cycle. Now hear this, it is a daily phrase that I commonly hear at work. But doctor, I barely eat. I'm in a calorie deficit and the belly won't budge. This brings us to the cortisol connection. You cannot out-diet a high-stress lifestyle. When you are chronically stressed, by work, family, or a lack of sleep, your adrenal glands pump out cortisol. Evolutionarily, cortisol prepares you to fight a tiger. It thinks you need quick energy, right now. So, it mobilizes fat from your arms and legs and deposits it in the abdomen. Why? Because the abdomen has more blood flow and easier access for the liver to convert that fat into quick fuel. A study in psychosomatic medicine back in 2000 confirmed this link. Stress specifically targets the visceral depot. So, if you are starving yourself but sleeping 5 hours a night and running on caffeine, your body thinks it is in a war zone. It will hold on to that visceral fat to keep you alive. You aren't failing the diet. Your body is trying to save you from a perceived threat. And we have to talk about the accelerant. There is a reason it's called a beer belly and not a bread belly. Your body views alcohol as a poison. When you drink, your liver stops everything else it's doing. It stops burning fat, it stops processing nutrients, to metabolize the acetate. Where does the food you ate with that drink go? Since the liver is busy, that energy is shunted immediately into visceral storage. If you want to kill this organ, you have to give your liver a well-deserved break. Now, for the doctor's verdict. I know this sounds terrifying. You have an active organ making a mess inside of you. But here is the good news, and it is very good news. Because this visceral fat is so metabolically active, because it has such a good blood supply, it is the first fat to go. Subcutaneous fat is stubborn, it likes to stay. Visceral fat is eager to leave if you send the right signals. So, what is the prescription? Here are some health upgrades you need to do. First, sleep is non-negotiable. You need 7+ hours to lower cortisol. If cortisol is high, the belly stays. Second, fiber is your friend. Soluble fiber binds to waste and reduces the insulin spike. Third, zone 2 cardio. You don't need to sprint until you vomit. Low intensity, steady movement burns fat as fuel without spiking cortisol. So, pay attention to me. You are not lazy and you are not broken. Your body is simply reacting to a modern environment it wasn't designed for. That hard belly is a symptom of a system under pressure. Relieve the pressure through sleep, through nutrition, through kindness to yourself, and that rogue fatty organ will shrink. Watch this video suggestion, it was especially picked for you. Also share, comment, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. It helps a ton with the algorithm. Remain tuned for future videos to empower your health and fitness journey. So, stay healthy, stay happy, and keep going.